what I focus on today is protecting children who are currently being harmed. In other words, this is not about me. None of this. Never wanted to be on camera. It was actually very triggering until I decided to just get over it. But Dark Lord Bob, I appreciate you, man. I am here to be a voice for the voiceless. I'm here to let people know that you can't ignore this and pretend like the bad guys are gonna go away. That's not how this works. It's also not helping children. But what's also part of the problem are many corrupt organizations that are pretending to be part of the solution. And in some cases, they're part of the evil. In many cases, they are just exploiting the problem, which means raising millions of dollars in the name of combating this very serious issue that they're not combating. And they're paying themselves a lot of money, but they're not making a dent. So those resources from well-meaning people are not going to the real victims and survivors and causes. They're patting the pockets of these people that are making sounds with their mouth, which doesn't cost millions of dollars. See how I'm doing this right now for free? Doesn't cost millions of dollars to raise awareness. Awareness matters, but it's not something we don't have enough resources to do the actual work. Dark Lord Bob, I appreciate you, man. So look, there's a lot of things that are really intuitive to me because unfortunately I was born and raised in this environment. And I do this work today, so there's a lot of things I see that I can't unsee. There's a lot of situations that I work with that would just literally tear your heart out. Okay, there are encounters that I have while I'm pretending to be a child on the internet, while I'm working undercover as an undercover junior decoy with law enforcement, that make grown officers cry. Things that children are seeing on the internet. You would not even imagine how much those things still haunt me today. So, that being said, I want people to understand that all of us have a role in this. All of us, in my opinion, have a responsibility not only to protect children, but to find a way that we can be part of the solution. It's not that we all have to do the same thing. It's not that we all have to get off our couch and risk our lives like I've chosen to do. It's not that we all have to donate money. It's that there is something we can do in our communities. So this is like, if you take nothing else away from this message, it's about what can I do? Here's the good news. I'm not asking you to research all the gory details. I'm not asking you to fill your mind with all these terrible things that are going to plague you and make you rather useless. I'm asking you to do something. I'm asking you not to ignore this. I'm asking you to take this seriously. I'm asking you to start at home protecting children. One of the ways I have narrowed this down in order for the public to understand this and stop calling it a theory, because child trafficking is very, very intense and overwhelming, dark, scary, gross for people. And the average person is just trying to live their normal life. They're not trying to be, it's very difficult to even deal with this, but then much less what do you do, right? Good people that are just living busy lives. How can I even help? But what people can do is specifically in the realm of digital safety. So as a nonprofit, I've narrowed down my focus to online safety because it's more tangible for people. Unpack this with me. It's actually quite sad, but this is the truth. The public can't handle the truth of child trafficking. Too dark, scary, gross, overwhelming, and it's just lost on them. But digital safety, I can prove to you what I see when I'm pretending to be a child on the internet. I film it with my other device. Let me just tell you, spoiler alert, it's disgusting, it's not okay, and over my dead body will my niece grow up in this world. And I'm here to change that and much more. What children see on the internet, what I have seen while pretending to be a child on the internet in about 2.5 or 3 days, I've seen more adult male genitalia than I have in my entire adult life. In the 2.5, 3 days that I was pretending to be a child on the internet, in every single city and state in America that I've worked undercover with law enforcement, you can't even imagine what these predators are saying to children. Let me just paint this picture for you. Within every single time this happens, within seconds of me creating a profile on the internet. So all I'm doing, I'm not even being a curious child trying to join groups and get attention and, live stream and whatever. I am literally just creating a profile with a child's face on the internet, just like an innocent, I'm not entrapping anybody, just so you know, I use AI filters to make my face look 12, okay? There's no way I could look older than 16. There's no way. And I'm just literally deer in the headlights, okay? Not that it would justify it. I'm just letting you know. I'm not doing this cutie little pose or, half naked. No, fully clothed, just literally this, okay? And every single time I've done this, within seconds of me creating a profile, I am flooded with predators. Literally just in my inbox saying the most vile, disgusting things you can't imagine to who they think is a child. Everything from like, hey baby, you're so cute, to, you know, what would you do for $500? Send me your cash app, I'll pin, whatever, to just the most like violent, terrible things you can't imagine would be appropriate for an adult to ever say to another adult. And this is what strangers on the internet are saying to a child in their DMs without any further like prior interaction, without any solicitation. I need you guys to know that children cannot unsee that type of predation. Am I right? Once a child loses their innocence, how can we regain them? Kay says, what type of apps? All kinds of apps. These are just, this is an important point to focus on. Not dating apps, not dark web apps. Apps from the App Store that every child uses to like network and play and whatever. I actually have a list of red flag apps that I've identified as very, very, very predatory that you should please never let your children use. Don't have them on your phone. The link is in my bio. It's on my website, digitaldefendersunited.org. I have a whole list of apps that are just like, please not these ones. Like if you're gonna give your child access to the internet, which debatably is not a good idea for children, and there are certain apps, for example, that give direct access to predators via live streams and DMs and certain types of interactions. There are certain apps that are just way too tolerant. Let me just like paint this picture as pretty as I can without violating any terms of care, okay? You know that same technology that identifies those comments or posts or things that you private message to your friends and they're like, this violates our community guidelines. Okay, that technology that identifies things, yeah. When I'm pretending to be a child on the internet and I'm using a baby face that looks 12 years old and tons, literally hundreds of adult men are pouring into my DMs saying the most vile, disgusting things. Okay, there's been a couple women, but like a couple, okay. And they are using very descriptive words, like not even coded words, but like very descriptive words. And I'm being flooded with very explicit content of very specific sexual organs, okay, like more images and videos than I've ever seen in my adult life. Guess how many times I've been blocked from those apps? Guess how many times those technology platforms have protected said child from said predators or blocked the predators? Guess how many times do we think that these apps, that these tech giants are doing their part to protect children? When I'm being flooded with the most vile, disgusting, and descriptive things. Let me give you guys one more insight. One of the qualifications for these bad guys to get arrested is that beyond me looking obviously 12 or 13 and me pretending to be a child and just like, I'm baking cookies with my grandma and whatever, I have to tell them my age in writing. I literally have to be like, I'm turning 12 next week. but it's my birthday. Okay, I have to tell them my age in writing. So you tell me why the same technology that identifies the words in your post that they don't like has somehow, I'm trying to play dumb, but it's okay, has somehow not identified the fact that this 12-year-old girl is being inundated with predators that are trying to come over to her house to do the unthinkable to a child and take her innocence. You tell me, because I can't play stupid that hard. Let me say this more directly. These technology platforms are intentionally not protecting children. Why? Let me say that a different way. They are intentionally profiting off the exploitation of children. I'll unpack that one. They make money off their user base, do they not? Off the ads and the members? Okay, so why are they not blocking them? Because they make money. They don't want to lose their users? Okay, so they are intentionally profiting off the exploitation of children. Hey, what's up, Sandy? Good to see you, ICAC Detective. Why is it, okay, ICAC Detective Sandy in the comments and a few other people that are incredibly badass scour the internet looking for live streams, because guess what happens every single time? Man, I'm just gonna let you, oh yeah, you're a moderator, I love it. Good. I'm gonna let Sandy talk if she wants to. When these kids are live, just live streaming, let's say they're showing you their toy or their hobby, or like just these kids on the internet, okay, they're bored and looking for friends. Every single time we see adults soliciting them. Every single time we see adults asking them to expose themselves. Every single time we see children being exploited, being preyed upon, being aggressively hunted, to say that very, very as nicely as I possibly can say, okay? That's not okay. Now, my dark humor allows me to smile and wave through most of this, but I really can't take any of this seriously because I know for a fact that this is a very, very, very solvable problem. I know for a fact there are so many ways that tech giants, if they wanted to, they could absolutely protect these children from these predators. So I call that, well, I'll give you guys the choice. I've overthought this, as you can imagine. There's two options. Let me know if there's a third. Is that incompetence or is it intentional? Or is there another option? Either way, it's unacceptable. And we need to be aware that that's what children are experiencing on the internet. We need to be aware that when we hand our child a device that gives them access to the entire internet, it's kind of like handing your child a loaded weapon and being like, okay, good luck, just stay quiet so I can take some time off. I'm not hating on parents that are needing a break, okay? I understand parents are a very, very, very difficult, it's a very difficult job these days. What I'm saying is that please don't give your children unlimited, unsupervised access to the internet. Bug King and everyone else who's here, my name is Kim. I'm here to protect children. That is my sole focus. I dedicate my life to not only protect children and their innocence, but I'm also working with the experts, with law enforcement and tech giants and all these different people towards solutions. Everyone else, the way they want to live their lives, totally up to them. Don't hurt humans or animals, totally up to you. I'm not religious. I don't approach this problem with bias. You're not going to hear me talk about all these other things that don't actually correlate to the root causes, or the root problems of this issue. This is not some religious conspiracy theory or QAnon bullshit, okay? Just being real direct, I'm a survivor of 20 years of child trafficking, including cult abuse. Fun fact, it was a Christian cult. So I was born and raised with 20 years of Jesus, God, and the Bible abuse with 25,000 children. My point here is that a lot of people tend to associate this issue with some conspiracy theory or religious bias or some other thing they've heard that has completely distracted them from the problem. And that, my friends, I believe is part of the problem.